Did you know that Australia is home to around 22.7 million people? But it also has nearly 200 million rabbits, almost 10 times the human population. These rabbits have caused such massive destruction that the Australian government has officially declared them a destructive species. For Australia, rabbits are a serious threat, and countless attempts to eliminate them have already failed. But while rabbits are considered a harmful creature in Australia, China has imported more than 4 million rabbits over the past 30 years, not for food, but for a unique experiment in the Kabuki Desert, and the results of this experiment left the entire world shocked and amazed. Viewers, when a desert spreads by swallowing fertile green land and turning it into wasteland, the process is called desertification. One of its biggest victims is China's Kabuki Desert. There was a time when this desert was expanding at a terrifying rate of 500,000 acres every year, consuming vast areas of fertile land annually at that point. China went all out to slow down this desertification. During the 1950s and 1960s, several projects were launched. Sand control stations were established, and trees were planted across the desert. But the shifting sand, this sea of sand, was completely out of control. Then one day, local entrepreneur named Wang Wanbiao changed everything. Wang invested his own money in a strange and unconventional idea. He began covering hundreds of acres of desert with dry shrubs arranged in square patterns. And in the middle of those squares, he started planting willow trees, also known as BD trees. Willow is a unique tree that can survive even without surface water, because its roots dig as deep as 300 feet into the desert to search for moisture. Willow wood is used to make paper and furniture, but only if the trees can actually survive. In the Kabuki Desert, strong winds scatter the sand, causing the trapped moisture to evaporate. To protect the young willow plants from these harsh winds, shrubs were planted all around them. At first, people laughed at Wang, saying, "Look at this madman trying to grow trees in the desert." But no one truly understood his intentions. For the next 3 years, everything went smoothly. Then a new problem emerged. The willow trees now needed special care. If they were to be sold to the paper and furniture industries, it was essential to cut the new branches immediately so the main trunk could grow thicker. But doing this work in the desert was both extremely difficult and very expensive. And this is where the story takes a surprising turn. This was the point where rabbits entered the picture specifically. Rex rabbits. Rex rabbits are a special breed whose fur is similar to that of an otter, exceptionally soft, costly, and used to make luxury clothing. But the question remains, why were rabbits brought here at all? Because of one small habit. These rabbits ended up transforming the entire ecosystem of the Kabuki Desert. Rex rabbits love to eat the new shoots that grow on willow trees. As they kept feeding on these soft, thin branches, the tree's main trunk grew thicker and stronger, exactly what the paper industry wanted and was willing to pay a high price for. In other words, the rabbits got their food and the paper industry got its raw material. On one side, the environment benefited. On the other, the economy thrived. It was a win-win situation, but this was only the beginning of the story, as you learned earlier. Willow tree roots can reach 300 feet deep underground. These roots penetrated the sand and increased its structural stability. As a result, during strong winds, the sand no longer blew away, and the moisture trapped inside it stopped evaporating. Meanwhile, the rabbits began to show their real magic. The waste of Rex rabbits, their droppings, started working as a natural fertilizer. In China's zero-waste system, this too became a valuable product. Another important factor was reproduction. Rex rabbits are one of the most rapidly reproducing breeds. A single female can give birth to around 50 bunnies in a year. As the rabbit population increased, the land became more and more fertile. Before anyone realized it, sand turned into farmland, where even organic vegetables began to grow. One more remarkable trait of Rex rabbits played a crucial role in this miracle. They can digest grass, but not grass seeds. As a result, the seeds passed through their system unchanged and were released with their waste. Over time, grass began to multiply naturally across the land, so the rabbits didn't just maintain. The willow trees, they helped grow grass, restore soil fertility, and eventually, even their fur started being sold at high prices. The entire process turned into a self-sustaining cycle. Quite literally, rabbits began turning the desert green dot after the success of this experiment. Wang didn't stop there. He rented 100 bulldozers and started leveling the desert dunes. He filled pits, flattened the land, and planted more willow trees there as well. At the same time, local people were encouraged to raise Rex rabbits. With the help of the Chinese government, millions of Rex rabbits were imported and distributed among locals. Every household gradually became a small farm. This project continued for 10 years, and the entire region was transformed. There was a time when nothing existed here except sand today. It is a lush green area. The total area of the Kabuki Desert is 18,600 square kilometers. Square kilometers in size? According to a UN report, nearly 33% of it, around 6,250 square kilometers, has now turned green. This transformation is the result of more than 30 years of continuous effort. Because of this change, the Kabuki Desert is no longer called the Sea of Death today. It is known as an ecological marvel. But it wasn't just the environment that changed. People's lives changed too. The Chinese government invested 3 billion yuan, roughly $400 million, into this region. With this funding, new villages were built, and people were provided with new sources of livelihood in the desert. Today, millions of acres of former desert land are supporting human livelihoods. More than 2,000 farms are operating here. 3 million Rex rabbits are sold every year. The average annual income of a farmer has now reached around $9,600. The same people who once fled the desert are now becoming financially stable and prosperous right here. According to an estimate, the lives of nearly 10,000 people have been transformed. When media reporters visited the area in 2017, they found the environment to be 10 times better than before. Trees, grass, animals, and humans, everything was functioning in perfect harmony. But one question naturally comes to mind. If rabbits can turn a desert green, why are they considered dangerous in Australia? The reason is simple. Before 1859, Australia had no rabbits at all. Then, a British settler released just 24 rabbits, so their population could grow, and British hunters could later come to hunt them. Within 70 years, their numbers exploded and went completely out of control. In Australia, rabbits live in their natural, unrestricted habitat. In contrast, in China, they are kept in a controlled environment where they are used only to the extent that benefits everyone. That's why rabbits are a curse in Australia, but a blessing in China. Yet the story of the Kabuki Desert doesn't end here. This is also where the world's largest solar power image was built, known as the Junma Solar Power Plant, spread across 6,000 acres. The plant consists of nearly 5 million solar panels. When viewed from space, these panels form the shape of a running horse. According to the Guinness World Records, it is the largest solar panel image in the world. By 2022, this plant, billion kilowatt-hours of energy. Because of this, China saved 7,600 tons of coal and reduced carbon dioxide emissions by 1.8 million tons. But if you think this power plant exists only to generate electricity, you'd be mistaken. This plant is also fighting desertification. Sunlight does not directly reach the ground beneath the solar panels, which reduces evaporation. As a result, grass can grow under the panels. And to maintain this grass, Rex rabbits are placed here as well. The rabbits eat the grass and, through their waste, naturally reseed it. This way, desertification is reduced, free clean energy is produced, and in the end, the rabbit's fur is sold at high prices. On top of that, the solar panels have reduced wind speed by up to 50%, meaning less sand is displaced. Gradually, new land becomes fertile on its own. Today, if you visit the Kabuki Desert, you'll see sheep, goats, ducks, and rabbits living together. There is grass beneath the panels and clusters of willow trees all around. No one could have imagined that the Sea of Death would one day be called the Sea of Life. And it all began with the smart use of a small rabbit. Today, Researchers around the world are calling this model an eco-economic revolution. According to one report, 50% of the world's land area is desert, and 40% is struggling with desertification. Today, across Europe and the United States, are also trying to learn from China's eco-economic revolution. The message of the Kabuki Desert is loud and clear. When humans and nature work together, even a sea of death can be transformed into a garden of life. We'll support it with plenty of likes and shares. Thank you so much for your love and heartfelt comments. We'll see you again in the next amazing video.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.